From the Oklahoman newsroom, this is an OSU update. I'm Jenni Carlson here with John Helsley. John, Cowboys go to K-State on Saturday. Obviously road opponent. You never know how it's going to go, but thought they'd be a little bit more competitive than they were. Instead, got really run over. Foul trouble seemed to be. They don't have the big enough margin for error to get in foul trouble, do they?
No, really a very small margin for error. And when they really play well, like we saw against Kansas last week, they're a pretty good team. Anything gets mixed up in that equation, then they're a very vulnerable team, and we saw that at Kansas State on Saturday. Juwan Evans got in foul trouble very early. He's really become sort of the key to this team and its success. Played 16 minutes in the game, not near enough. They didn't rebound well. They didn't defend well. There was sort of like a whole list of don't do this. They did it.
Yeah. With Evans in the foul trouble, how much of a focal point he's become in a very short amount of time? Did that affect everything else, John? Did you sense that being a problem on just energy and going after rebounds and defending? I mean, the stuff that you mentioned, did that have a carryover effect at all?
I think it did, because even the guys within the team, even though this kid's a true freshman, even his teammates kind of acknowledge his value and importance to the team. So when he's sitting over there, and obviously he was going to sit for a long time, only played 8 minutes in the first half, the offense really bogged down. He's the kind of guy that really kind of gets everything started offensively for them. And so, yeah, I think there was a carryover.
All right, let's look a little bit ahead. As Baylor comes to Stillwater later this week, it's a Wednesday night game. Baylor, you mentioned rebounding at K-State being a problem. They got to get that fixed. And then a road game over the weekend, this SEC Big 12 Challenge. They go to Auburn. Auburn, a team that they've had some spoiler role themselves this year.
Yeah, first up with Baylor, it's a team that murdered them on the boards in Waco.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 44-18. A lot of offensive rebounds. Obviously, Rico Gathers, one of the great rebounders in the country. Cowboys did not do a good job in Waco. We're in the game somewhat in the second half, kind of made a pretty good rally. They're definitely going to have to rebound better at home if they want to try and maybe pull an upset there. The game with Auburn, two similar teams really overall, haven't been great, Cowboys and Tigers. Auburn's got a win over Kentucky. Cowboys have a win over Kansas. So they kind of each have a big win to their resume, but not a whole lot else.
Is this a stretch, John, as we see the Cowboys sort of go up and down? Is this a stretch for the young guys that you just have to say, this is a time when these guys have to learn how to win consistently or be in games consistently? Because it is, I mean, the Big 12's as tough as it comes. You've got young guys like Juwan Evans. Is this a stretch where they just need to sort of get figured out what it's going to take to be consistent moving forward and maybe in years to come?
Yeah, it's an excellent point, Jenny, because before the game I talked to Dave Hunziker, the play-by-play voice of the Cowboys, and he raised the question, is this team mature enough to go win a game on the road at Kansas State after a big win against Kansas? That was before the game, and obviously the answer was no. So, yeah, this team, very young, a lot of guys who haven't played a whole lot at this level. How are they going to maybe mature and learn from a lot of these experiences to maybe win some games this year? But as you say, also down the road in the future.
Yeah. All right. So Wednesday night, 8 o'clock, ESPNU against Baylor. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.